あれ絶対言うわよ。絶対言うわよ。見えない見えない、あのカメラいいもん。
"10:40 a.m. I'm heading to the show now. Clear sky, but rain is forecasted. I'll show you the way. Let's go together." While I walk to the subway station, I'll chat with you a bit. Why am I so fascinated by XG? Maybe I like XG less for their musical and artistic aspects, per se, but more for transcendental reasons. For those who watched my video analyzing Coconuts dance earlier this year, and those who follow my community posts, you know I always hint that XG might have a message to convey. These 7 girls, maybe the company, everyone involved, or some of them, there's a possibility they're trying to communicate something. Then on the last weekend of November 2022, Brazil had been experiencing a major wave of UFO sightings since mid-year. On that last weekend of 2022, it was Sunday morning around 7 a.m. I had just woken up and went to my living room window to look outside. When I turned right, I saw the city view. I'll show you a photo later. And I spotted a flying sphere. It was about 2 kilometers away, at the height of a 25-story building, approximately that height. It had a silver tone, a lead-like color, and reflected the city's image. It looked like glass and was floating. And it wasn't just one sphere. There was a smaller one orbiting around it. An identical sphere, just smaller in size. I'll make a montage for you to see. So there was this sphere, moving very slowly, going in the opposite direction of airplane routes. Since there's an airport relatively close to my house, and it was going the opposite way, I just kept watching it for about 10 to 15 seconds. After 10 or 15 seconds, suddenly, out of nowhere, 2 more identical spheres appeared, each with a smaller one orbiting around it. And they appeared from nothing behind, following the same movement, one after another. This sighting lasted about 4 or 5 minutes. During that time, I found myself questioning many things, especially the religious beliefs I held. Washington is actively Catholic for almost 30 years. And for 20 years I practiced a very traditional form of Catholicism, more fundamentalist, within Catholic doctrine perspective, where people had very rigid morals. People married, had many children, large families. People always dressed, covering almost their entire body. Attended religious practices very frequently, almost daily. Women wore skirts and dresses and veils during worship. And there was an ideal of converting others. So, During those 4 minutes, when I had that sighting at the end of 2022, simply all of that fell apart from my particular perspective. Because either those 3 spheres were human technology, that's completely hidden from us, which would mean we're part of a huge worldwide conspiracy. Because as far as I know, humans haven't developed any kind of technology that makes vehicles float without making any noise. Since those spheres were completely silent, and at the distance they were at, and the altitude they were at, I would hear any helicopter or plane noise. I do hear noise since I'm on a flight path, both coming and going to the airport. By the way, I have 2 airports near my home, so they weren't making any sound at all. They were floating and moving slowly. So, either this is hidden technology, or this is indeed something beyond what's natural here on Earth. Where is this from? I don't know. Something appearing out of nowhere like a hologram. I don't know where it's from. I doubt it's human. I don't believe it's human. So from that point, I opened myself to the possibility that maybe there's life outside Earth. I had another sighting when I was a child, around 1994 or 1995. But it was more subjective, not as clear as the recent one. I question what I saw back then. Those were the only 2 times, but the recent one I can't deny what I saw. So I opened myself to this possibility. And then, at the end of 2023, mid-2023, when I discovered XG, I simply fell in love with the group's themes. And by then, I was completely open, having studied or informed myself about many of these perspectives: ufological, transcendent, mystical, spiritualist, and so on. I prefer to call all of this transcendent. So that's what fascinates me about XG. To me, there's great symbolism in everything they're showing through their art, in their songs, videos, and everything.
Entrando aqui na estação do metrô. Hoje o dia, em teoria, vai ser ensolarado, mas no final da tarde parece que vai cair uma boa tempestade. E o lugar lá não é coberto do lado de fora, à espera da fila, né, da casa de show. Então já trouxe minha capa de chuva, porque aqui em São Paulo é assim, é muito frio às vezes durante o dia, ou muito quente, depois tem chuva muito forte, inunda bastante, bem complicado. A viagem vai durar mais ou menos 1 hora de trem, metrô. Eu tô na zona norte da cidade e tenho que chegar na zona sul, extremo oposto. Saindo agora da primeira linha do metrô, indo para a segunda, andar mais umas 7 estações, depois ir para a última, que é a linha do trem mesmo.
As you saw here, the name of the train line direction is Varginha. Varginha is a town in the countryside of São Paulo where there was perhaps the second biggest UFO sighting case, or UFO case here in Brazil. Supposedly, in this country town, around 1995 to 1997, a spacecraft crashed in the town. So it was a small country town, a rural area with fields and mountains. And supposedly the craft crashed there, and a being was found by locals. And the army was called, police, there was a mobilization of officials. A Apparently the being was taken to the largest university here in Brazil, which is Unicamp. Stayed there for some time and supposedly, according to documents released today, because at the time everything was very hushed up. But since 2020 they've been releasing documents, many reports from officers who participated at the time. So today it's said that there really was a mobilization of officers, and even US Army officers, to deal with the case, including the body of the supposed being, which stayed at the university for 1 or 2 weeks before being transported elsewhere. So it was one of the most emblematic cases here in Brazil. So this is the Varginha City case. Interestingly, the train line that goes where XG will perform is called Varginha.
Depois de 1 hora e pouquinho de viagem, então, embora esteja dentro de São Paulo, é longe, 1 hora realmente de viagem. Então, estou aqui quase ao lado, estou na estação de metrô, quase ao lado da casa de shows. A casa de shows, ela tá aqui para trás, eu não sei se eu estou apontando certo, mas ela tá aqui onde estão esses prédios. E aqui atrás a gente tem um dos rios mais famosos de São Paulo, que é o Rio Pinheiros. Então, uma parte arborizada aqui. Aqui está o rio. A estação de metrô aqui para vocês.
I'm here at the concert venue at Tokyo Marine Hall, a 4,000 capacity venue. Perhaps one of XG's last shows in small venues. Because compared to what XG has been doing, it's really small. I really hope it's the last in a small place, even here in Brazil, because they could do a show for 8,000 people, but anyway, there are already many people here, must be about 1,000 people. All back there, the street continues and it's full. This is the entrance, here are their vans. So back there, the whole block is already filling up nicely. Unfortunately, this is a Thursday, a regular work day. After a 5-day holiday we had here in the country, from Thursday to Monday. So it's hard for people to get time off. And here, apparently the age group is people who look 30 or younger. We see that in the US, Asia, looking at the extras. There are usually older people too, but not here, I see more. Quite young people. And all in black, looks like I'm at a glam rock or punk show. All in black with colorful details. You see many people with LGBT flags, many gays and lesbians. But the atmosphere is quite calm. Really nice place here.
E não dava para ser show do XG em São Paulo sem chuva, né? XG sem chuva, pelo menos nas gravações dela, já é uma coisa comum, mas aqui em São Paulo realmente não ter chuva é difícil. Por mais que faça calor de 30 graus, 35 graus, depois chuva, temporal. Então aqui, agora tá chovendo um pouco mais fraco, por isso que eu tô até gravando. Mas o pessoal também, todo mundo com as suas capas de chuva. E aqui é o quarteirão ao redor aqui da casa de show. Aí a cada hora realmente enchendo bastante aqui, já tô conversando com alguns alfas ali na fila. Um clima bem tranquilo, bastante vendedor de rua aqui pra gente comprar as coisas, souvenirs, comprar comida, etc. Clima bem agradável. Ainda tem mais, agora são 3 da tarde praticamente, abre 6h30, então 3 horas e meia ainda de espera. Mas tudo tranquilo por enquanto. Então a galera do VIP ali no fundo, não sei se dá pra vocês verem, agora já tá bem mais cheio realmente. Mas a cada hora enchendo mais, o pessoal do VIP entra agora 4h30, 6h30 a gente já tá bem cheio aqui a fila. Porque o pessoal sai do trabalho justamente para vir para cá, mas tem muita gente que vem de fora, de estados até bastante longes aqui, em vários lugares do Brasil, do sul, do nordeste. O pessoal que está do meu lado ali na fila também. 2 vieram do nordeste, a 3 horas de avião daqui. Outro veio do sul, Santa Catarina. A outra veio de uma cidade próxima aqui, também do estado de São Paulo, de Campinas. Então, bastante gente de fora. Acabamos de entrar aqui, então, dentro da casa de show. Aqui, então, o pessoal.
Nossa, eu sou minúscula, eu vou chegar com porra.
Estava com alguns alvos conversando lá fora na fila, mas acabei perdendo todo mundo. Só entrei aqui, eu localizei alguns pra lá. O ingresso deu um probleminha na entrada, mas consegui entrar. Então, estou no meio aqui do palco, no meio mais ou menos aqui da casa de show, bem na pista mesmo. Deixa eu mostrar de novo aqui pra vocês.
Nossa senhora, dá pra ver pouco.
Não, o melhor lugar, mas deu pra ficar mais ou menos no centro do palco aqui, vai dar pra ver bem. Não tem muita gente maior do que eu aqui, tem 1,80, mas vai dar pra ver. Acabou de terminar, é um lugar muito quente aqui, as meninas antes de passar o calor aqui, estou completamente sem voz, simplesmente Brasil sendo Brasil, todo mundo gritando muito e sem voz, completamente sem voz. Vou mostrar para vocês aí os cortes dos vídeos. Se alguém tinha alguma dúvida se o Brasil faz barulho, a gente faz muito, viu? Daqui a pouco eu falo mais com vocês. Pessoal, realmente que show! Público brasileiro. Acredito que as meninas vão com certeza falar. Melhor público que elas já tiveram, muito provavelmente. Muito grito o tempo todo, muito cansativo também, ali o pessoal pulando sempre, não deveu nada para um bom show de rock até, muito rock and roll mesmo. Agora no metrô. Ainda tô meio cansado, desnorteado, acontece muita coisa ao mesmo tempo. Fazia tempo que eu não ia show assim. Mas gostei muito. Acho que as meninas gostaram bastante de fazer show. Cocona se emocionou. Alguns momentos vocês vão ver, se der para enxergar alguma coisa na minha filmagem, vou mostrar para vocês. Mas arrancamos algumas lágrimas dela. Nossa, mas gritamos muito pra Cocona, mas muito. Foi bastante representativo esse aqui no Brasil, principalmente pela questão da causa gay. Os LGBTs, eles têm muita conexão com a XG. embora a mensagem do XG para mim seja uma coisa muito mais além, muito mais profunda, as pessoas se sentem representadas por elas e de fato, né, o XG tem essa questão também em jogo. Então, se sentem muito representados, muitas pessoas aqui, da LGBT, as bandeiras, os leques, muito bonito. As pessoas se conectam bastante com a Cocona, com a Jurin, na verdade com todas, mas a Cocona realmente teve, o pessoal gosta muito dela aqui. A Jurin foi muito ovacionada também com os Jurials. Ela fez a performance, de fato uma performance muito bonita de dança. Aqui já até dá pra falar pra vocês um pouco. É que eu tô ainda meio perdido, então vocês me desculpem, mas vou simplesmente falando o que vier na cabeça agora. Não sei como direito eu vou terminar este vídeo, mas explicando alguma coisa como eu sempre faço, mas o tratamento de som do lugar, o som do Tokyo Marine Hall é muito ruim, mas é muito ruim, péssimo, horroroso. Então, o que aconteceu é que os solos das meninas, todas elas só fizeram pauleira. Então a Kisa veio com, acho que é Madonna, as meninas fizeram os raps, barulho. Não tinha como analisar, horroroso. O som é horroroso dessa casa de som. A Maia já prometeu que vai voltar, que elas vão voltar mais uma vez, ano que vem, provavelmente. Isso ela já disse no final do show.
We will be back.
Elas ficaram bem comovidas mesmo. No Puppet Show, principalmente, se via. Mas então, o som é muito ruim, então não tinha jeito. As músicas tinham que ser as mais agitadas, não dava pra pensar em performance vocal, não havia o que analisar, simplesmente assim. O que eu vou mostrar pra vocês são análises, que eu vou reagir com vocês, vou reagir, não vou fazer nenhum tipo de análise técnica vocal. O pouco que se conseguia ouvir, eu percebia que as meninas em alguns momentos, o de sempre, né, conseguiam colocar a voz delas, enquanto performava a dança. Mas muitos momentos ia o playback pra frente, mas ali não tem muito o que analisar, muito ruim a acústica. Não é um show que eu esperava de fato da XG, é que eu me esqueço que Brasil é Brasil, que o Brasil é agitação, é gritaria, todo mundo cantando junto, mas todo mundo cantando junto o tempo inteiro. Eu devo estar mostrando isso no decorrer desse vídeo, provavelmente essa parte já está no final. Vocês perdoem até meu rosto aqui, estou desidratado, estou suado. As meninas aqui também ficaram bastante suadas em cima do palco. A casa estava quente, poderia estar até mais quente, mas eles tinham um ar-condicionado até que interessante, mas de jeito. Então elas se cansaram. O que cansa bastante ficar em pé, né, evidentemente. Então, desde o meio-dia, 11 da manhã, 10 da manhã na verdade, né, andando, indo pro show, esperando na fila. Conversei com o pessoal que depois eu me perdi de todos eles, na fila. Conversei com 2 dançarinos profissionais, um menino e uma menina. Conversei com eles sobre pontos muito interessantes sobre performance de dança. Realmente dança é um negócio que a gente precisa levar muito em consideração na hora de julgar um artista, um cantor, porque realmente é como eu imaginava, a coisa é muito séria. Eles de fato têm perigos reais de se machucar nas performances de dança. Não é à toa que vocês veem as meninas do XG sempre preocupadas em não se machucar nos shows, que é o perigo real. Eu conversei com os 2 artistas ali, eles são do hip hop, da dança de hip hop, eles trabalham em competições. Conversar um pouco isso. Maravilhoso em termos de você sentir a energia do pessoal, o pessoal pulando, bastante gritando. Não sei nem o que vai dar para ouvir dos sons. Já vou ter colocado aqui no vídeo, mas não sei o que vai ser possível ouvir. Mas vocês vão ver simplesmente, quase que a maior parte do tempo, gritos das pessoas cantando junto. Maravilhoso, a gente consegue passar realmente aquilo que o Brasil é, como o brasileiro é. Um público muito quente, muito caloroso, realmente fervoroso, carinhoso. um clima muito bom com as pessoas ali, todo mundo em paz, muito tranquilo. Gostei bastante, a energia do lugar estava muito boa. Para quem acredita um pouco nessas questões mais transcendentes, a energia do lugar estava bastante boa. Difícil de ver qualquer coisa ali, né? O palco é muito baixo, as meninas são pequenas e então olhar a olho nu era difícil. Vocês vão ver na filmagem também que às vezes eu saía do ângulo, começava numa câmera, eu tava com a câmera do celular, a câmera do outro celular, revezava e não sabia qual eu trocava, né? Não sabia qual usar. Meu celular teve uma hora que voou, que a gente estava pulando, aí alguém acabou batendo, meu celular voou, esse aqui. Depois o pessoal me ajudou ali a procurar rapidinho, acaba achando. Realmente eu esperava que fosse ser como um show de rock. Muito bom, muito bom. Bem... Valeu muito a pena ter ido, mas é uma experiência que não é a minha experiência que eu prefira agora. Ou pelo menos é um pouco confusa para mim, porque eu tinha que ficar filmando, ficar um pouco preocupado com isso e com ver o show. Isso realmente me cansou um pouquinho. Se eu tivesse só prestando atenção no show, talvez fosse melhor. Não estaria tão cansado, mas em todo caso também cansa mesmo o fato de você ter que ficar ali procurando, né? Olha pro telão, olha pra frente, tenta se levantar um pouquinho, anda pro lado pro outro, pouco oxigênio. Bastante complexo estar naquele show, mas realmente muito bom. Acho que as meninas gostaram bastante. Quem tiver acesso à parte paga do site das meninas, ver o que é o relato delas, o que o pessoal tá falando no Twitter. Mas eu quero ver o que as meninas têm para falar em relação a isso. Eu acho que elas gostaram bastante do público brasileiro, com certeza.
Showtime we did today, but time flies when you're having a blast, and it's almost time to say goodbye. So fast. Yes, alphas, vocês são nosso tudo.
So now I'm here the day after XG's concert. And since yesterday, throughout the whole day, I've been checking the channel's messages. I posted some photos there of what was happening throughout the day. And I'm very grateful and impressed with the unity of alphas from all over the world. For me, it's truly an honor to talk with people mainly from Japan. but also from the United States, Pakistan, and Europe in general. But I'm especially happy to talk with the Japanese fans. Yesterday many people sent messages, commented on the videos, on the posts I shared. And it's all wonderful. I'm extremely grateful. But beyond all that, you notice, experience being an alpha. See also the affection from alphas, everyone wanting to know, wanting to see. I tried to start a live stream at the beginning of the show so you could see a bit of that Brazilian energy at the start. Something I was worried might not happen. But being there in the crowd, in line, I could already feel the energy was really high. That it would be a show where Brazilians would be Brazilians, very energetic, warm, showing all their love to the girls. And showing that XG is truly big here. XG is a pride for Japan. I would be very proud if I were Japanese and had XG as something that was born in my country. I think Japanese people should really rejoice in the fact that they're Japanese. I imagine having a Brazilian group like XG, with all this international success, with such good artistic work. So it's a pride for the country, Japan. I even talked to some people about this in comments. I grew up in a Japanese community during my adolescence and part of my adult life. Most were actually Japanese, some were direct children of Japanese parents, even grandchildren. They're wonderful people, so I have greater contact and special affection for Japanese people and their culture. My current preference in rock is J-rock, since I discovered it in 2020. I listen to J-rock most of the time. I discovered J-pop and I'm still getting into it. I plan to feature J-pop groups on the channel in general. But XG won me over with their themes, as I mentioned at the start of the video. That more philosophical, transcendental aspect is what truly connects me with XG. I'm not even a typical fan, not one who memorizes lyrics, who knows how to sing everything, who joins fan clubs. Work obligations here in Brazil are very demanding. You have to fight hard every day, sometimes twice as hard. So there's also lack of time, but I usually enjoy the music, the melody more. I have more of the musician's perspective. I get very attached to the theoretical, melodic aspects. So I think it's a pride for Brazil. I saw the girls post. And I'll even share it with you, or maybe already shared it in community posts. They were truly amazed by Brazil. And I'd risk saying yes, maybe we have the best concert audience in the world. I've heard this from rock bands too. They usually say Brazilians and Argentinians remember XG, ALX, Chile and Argentina too. I don't know how big XG's fanbase is in Argentina compared to Brazil, but South American fans are really passionate. It's really worth performing here, and the girls truly felt all our energy from the Brazilian crowd. So the girls went all out, as much as they deserved, especially after Coachella. They had a show that, although not as big, maybe their smallest show, I can't say for sure, but it was very worthy and grand for them. Because we really cheered for them the way they deserved, like queens. With Coconut, we simply didn't let her speak. When they were introducing themselves, saying their names and trying to speak a phrase in Portuguese, We didn't let Coconut speak, just like that. So we just started screaming. I don't remember who was right before her. I think it was Chiza. As soon as Chiza stopped, everyone started screaming, shouting, yelling. Also shouts of Coconut, Coconut. She just stopped, didn't say anything. And then the last one, I think it was Harvey, I don't remember who, took over. But Coconut just made a thankful gesture and that was it. We didn't let her. Maybe Coconut is the most beloved among them for Brazilians. Due to her whole context, everything she represents. For me, it's something more philosophical, transcendental. But for many people here, we have that LGBT plus aspect and so on. She embodies the symbolism that she carries. Of this contradiction between masculine and feminine, a dark side, a light side, a side of strength and delicacy. She lives that, she shows that in her own life too. All 7 were highly cheered, can't say one was more than the others. But Coconut had this highlight in that moment. Chiza, at the end of her solo, was the most cheered among all and it was wonderful. So much energy, I think it was well deserved. All were amazing. Coconut also ended up being very ... It's impossible. They're all very connected, they all connect well with each other. But what I noticed had a bit more intensity was Coconut in that speaking moment when she couldn't speak. And Chiza at the end of her solo, she was truly spectacular. Anyway, I'm showing you some clips here throughout the video. Later I'll do an analysis, not an analysis, a first reaction with you guys here. Something more fun, maybe commenting on some things I remember in the moment. But it was really hard to film. Had to keep trying to stand on my toes to see something at the front of the stage. So I had my arm extended, kept switching phones between hands. Sometimes worried about checking the phone's battery. To program what needed to be opened on the phone. Depending on the situation, I had to turn the phone screen, while also having to look to one side or the other. Because there were always 700 heads in front of me, you have to keep repositioning. So that was the most tiring part of the show and made filming difficult. I think if I were in Japan, the US, filming, it would be easier. Or if I had gotten the upper area, which I missed by seconds. I entered the platform to buy on the sale day. And then had a waiting time of about 5 minutes to finalize. When I was selecting the VIP box, seconds later, the ticket was already sold out, so I couldn't get it. So I went to the floor, which I don't like unless it's a rock show, but this XG show was a rock show for me. It was great, very energetic, people were jumping a lot. I was more or less in the middle. At some points I was in the middle at the start, then we managed to move forward a bit. Not sure if they were opening spaces or what happened, but we managed to get closer. So I was near the stage, the camera doesn't show it. Actually, on camera, if you can really grasp the screams, I noticed it loses a lot. On the other hand, you can hear the snare sounds better. But, I repeat, I've already watched some of the videos I recorded. But I'll say it again, the venue's sound quality was really bad. Simon, you guys can't go back to Tokyo Marine Hall next year, or whenever you come back here. Look for a bigger venue, on a date far from holidays, preferably between Friday, Saturday or Sunday. Best between Friday and Saturday. And with better audio treatment. There, it was terrible. You could barely hear anything, many people complained about it. It was just a massive wall of sound where, on cell phones, Since they filter out many of the frequencies they capture, they pick up more high frequencies. So you could hear the high frequencies that the speakers were emitting. But there were two large speakers by the stage. And if I'm not mistaken, one or two smaller ones on the sides, really bad. The main sound came from the front, from a set of speakers by the stage. So there was no precision at all, and it really wasn't possible to have a show with vocal performances, with more complex songs. I also believe the show's atmosphere needed to be warmer. This is very Brazilian indeed. I think to watch an XG show, I'd prefer to just be sitting there, appreciating it artistically, in silence, like I do with classical music, because I'm also more used to classical music concerts. And for me, XG has a bit of that. Literally, something much more artistic at this level, almost like opera or a classical music concert. It's possible to watch XG show this way. It's what I prefer. So I think I might need to go to Japan to watch the show in a quieter way. But it was worth experiencing the chaos, the excitement, the energy, the screaming. Being in the middle of the crowd was quite interesting. That's the experience. It's less musical. It's more about that emotional, energetic connection. With the group, it's a really different experience that I quite enjoyed. It's truly a show that I hope stayed in the girls' hearts, and it did from what I saw in their stories. And from what Maya said at the end of the show, they'll be back. They noticed. They smiled a lot. They were smiling at many moments during the show. Some very spontaneous smiles they let out. And they usually came when they saw us singing and screaming and chanting the whole time. Hinata doing this during her solo because people were there, and you saw her genuine smiles. So this was my concert experience. I've shared a bit here, and will comment more in the video where I react to all the songs from the show. And also, let's focus now on the Coachella analysis. While eagerly waiting for good footage from Tokyo Dome, which I believe will be the best show of their lives, at least in terms of performance. Sorry, but you won't find Brazilian crowd energy in Japan. I really don't think you'll find that there. It needs to be Latin American energy. We're very emotional. We're very much like this, for better or worse. But in this case, it was for the better. So if you like this video, leave your like, your comment below. Subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this, and consider supporting through the value button or the first link in the pinned comment, the PayPal link. Alright, see you later.